New at 4:30, as the investigation into a Fort Worth police-involved shooting continues, we are looking into the training officers received before they hit the streets.
And the officer involved in the deadly shooting has resigned now. We're looking at the process of what could happen next for Aaron Dean.
Interim Fort Worth Police Chief Ed Kraus did not mince words this afternoon, announcing that now former officer Aaron Dean resigned in the aftermath of the shooting that killed Atatiana Jefferson.
Despite his resignation, the officer still faces criminal charges from the major case investigation. I've personally checked on the progress of that case repeatedly, and I anticipate a substantial update to provide you no later than tomorrow. Additionally, we have also presented a preliminary case to the FBI to review the officer's actions for possible civil rights violations.
According to the Fort Worth Police Department, Aaron Dean was commissioned as a police officer in Fort Worth in April of 2018, so not too long ago.
Attorney and former police officer Pete Schulte joining us now in studio. Pete, thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
We've had these conversations several times before. It seems like here we are once again. Let's get right into it. Is it normal to see a police officer resign under these circumstances this quickly? What can we glean
What
from
it
this?
tells me is that this officer really doesn't have anything he can tell the police department that's going to justify his actions.
Okay.
By resigning, the police department can't compel him to give a statement as part of the internal investigation. And he has a right in the criminal investigation. I know Chief Kraus was talking about the major crimes unit.
Yeah.
He's just going to be just like any other suspect in a case. He has a constitutional right to remain silent, and he's probably talking to a lawyer, and the lawyer's like, look, you need to get in there and resign. You need to keep your mouth shut. Any facts that are going to come out should come out during your criminal trial, which I expect.
What could he gain by not giving this statement and not talking to the investigators right
Well,
now?
I mean, at the end of the day, I think what it would come down to is if he perceived a threat, right? He shot through a window, maybe he thought she had a gun, whatever that might be, it may justify a manslaughter charge versus a murder charge.
Okay.
But right now, based on what we know, if he doesn't provide that information to investigators, this is going to be a murder charge, and he's going to have to show that defense.
And you tweeted about that earlier today. What do you make of the speed at which all of this is sort of moving? What could potentially happen here, you think?
Well, I didn't like what the police department did on Saturday with giving out the video of the body cam and then adding that gun photo at the end
picture,
without,
right.
without any context. The fact is yesterday we had a lieutenant from the Fort Worth Police Department. I think maybe Chief Kraus may have been out of town. He should have done that press conference yesterday. He's doing it today. I'm asking the citizens, the police department's going to do the right thing. Just give them some time. They want a state agency dealing with this, not the feds. The feds can't charge somebody with murder. Only the state actors can, so they need to let that happen.
And they haven't had the Rangers in this case come in and take over this just yet. The longer that takes, does that essentially taint the case at all?
No, I mean, I think that, even what happened in Dallas, with the Amber Geiger case, everyone was talking about manslaughter, and I was one of the first attorneys on the very front end saying it should be murder. When she fired the shot, she had intentionally done that to both of them, John. In this case, it's going to come down. Could this have been an accidental discharge? Did the officer freak out, finger come back, and pull the trigger? We're not going to know that unless we talk to the officer.
Aside from being an attorney, you're also a police officer. And the last thing I wanted to ask you about here is we saw the video.
Right.
He did not announce that he was Fort Worth Police. You said that was a critical error.
That was a critical error because you're going into a situation called a welfare check, and this is not a burglar alarm call. The tactics, whether he was trained like this, which it appears it might have been that way, but you never approached the call like they did, and no police officer I've talked to today has agreed that he thought it was appropriate.
Okay, we will see what happens next. Clearly, this is something that is happening very quickly, so we'll keep an eye on it. Pete Schulte, thank you very much. Gilma?
Thank you, Ken. The shooting